We'll go ahead and get started. I will call to order the Common Council meeting on September 22nd, 2020 at 7:32. First up is Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Alder Radafrada. Here. Alder Clouder. Here. Alder Gerhardt. Here. Alder Krause. Here. Alder Maldonado.
Here.
Mayor Richardson.
Here.
Alder Schroeder. Here. Alder Strassman. Here. Alder Udell.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Next up is public appearances, non-agenda items, new appointments. We have a couple of proclamations. I thought someone was going to be here for Arbor Day and Earth Day, but they're not here at this point, so I will go ahead and read this. We are recognizing September 22nd, 2020 as Fitchburg Arbor Day and Earth Day celebration. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day called Arbor Day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas the holiday called Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas each year on the last Friday in April, people throughout Wisconsin and across the country celebrate Arbor Day by paying special attention to the wonderful treasure that trees represent, and by dedicating themselves to the continued health of our urban and rural forests. And whereas every tree planted, nurtured, or maintained by past generations and enjoyed by citizens today bears witness to the foresight of our predecessors, men and women who were inspired by the notion of a future blessed with trees. And whereas, in December of 1998, Fitchburg City Council acknowledged the importance of trees by resolving to develop a community tree management program with the goal of achieving Tree City USA status and applying for grants to help plant and maintain trees in the city. And whereas trees can reduce runoff, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, calm traffic, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, beautify our community, and whereas Fitchburg has recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for 23 consecutive years, has earned 11 Growth Awards, and desires to continue its tree planting ways. And whereas in 1970, Senator Gaylord Nelson of Wisconsin suggested in a speech that a one-day demonstration be held to show concern for the environment. April 22nd, 1970 was designated the original Earth Day. And whereas, in recognition of Earth Day, September 26, 2020, it is desirable to undertake efforts to clean up our community's roadsides and parks. And whereas, planting trees by Fitchburg citizens represents a commitment toward community, environment, urban forestry, and aesthetic beauty. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Aaron Richardson, Mayor of the City of Fitchburg, issue this proclamation recognizing September 22nd, 2020 as Fitchburg Arbor Day and Earth Day celebration. Now, therefore, be it further proclaimed that all citizens are urged to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and to support our city's urban forestry program, that all citizens are urged to plant trees to promote the well-being of present and future generations so that future generations can continue to enjoy a green and healthy community, and to look back upon the foresight and dedication of their predecessors with pride and with gratitude, and to join with others across our state and nation in celebrating the nobility of trees. Proclaimed this 22nd day of September, 2020. And I know that we also have the new elementary school from Oregon, Forest Edge Elementary, that is actually doing this as well, and they have a community forest that they are going to have behind the school, which will enable them to teach not only kids at the elementary school here in Fitchburg, but throughout the district, the importance of trees as well. So that's a great asset for the city as well. All right, moving on to...
Can I do a point of order? I'm sorry to interrupt.
What's that?
Can I do a point of order?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What is it?
Yeah, so I'm brushing up on Robert's Rules of Order because I'm still learning. And I just had some questions about the agenda process. So from my reading, my understanding is that we, part of the process can be adopting the agenda, like voting to adopt an agenda. And my question, I guess, revolves around our ability to change the order of the agenda. I guess last time we had a lot of people that were online for several hours before they could give testimony. And based on my interpretation of what happened, it sounded like my understanding was that we weren't allowed to change the order for some reason. But I guess based on my reading, I'm not clear that that's true. And so I just wanted to bring it up and see if we can talk about changing the order of the agenda today, given the fact that some people may be here to testify again, and those same people may have been waiting a long time at the last meeting. So I wanted to ask that question.
We can and actually do change the agenda around. I know last meeting, I should say, a couple weeks ago, the other items were all generally pretty quick, which is why I want to try and get those done, and there were some people waiting for those as well. And so we didn't want to make, one or two people wait 2 or 3 hours for kind of the bigger agenda. So that was kind of why we decided to get through some of those things that we had to do that for the most part didn't take very long. And so that was kind of why we did that. But we can and have in the past changed the agenda items around before.
Okay. Is there any reason why we couldn't make adopting the agenda part of the process, so there's an opportunity for someone to bring forward a proposed change? Or
I guess a point of order on that. This isn't on the agenda for discussion.
Yeah.
So we can't discuss this at this point.
Yeah, that's
well, I
a
guess
great thing.
I wanted to make a motion to consider moving up Resolution R 17620 earlier in the agenda.
You can do that, yes.
Okay. And I just wanted to make sure that I understood the process so that I wasn't, I just wanted to know what's happening with that, so.
Okay.
Okay,
Are we
so
not allowed to discuss parliamentary procedure unless we put it on the agenda?
it's not an
That's
agenda.
correct.
Yeah, you can't discuss
Okay.
anything, actually. You can ask a question, but we can't have a discussion about anything if it's not on the agenda.
Okay, so my question was inappropriate to ask about the order of the agenda?
It's even better if you, call Pat or someone before the meeting and they get those questions answered, but no, that's fine. So I guess I'm not, it sounds like you're maybe making a motion, but I'm not exactly sure where you wanted to move that item.
Well, I might leave that to the District 1 alders to clarify, since they probably are in communication with the people that are interested in speaking. So maybe does Alder Maldonado or Alder Krause want to speak to that?
Is there anybody in the chamber?
There is no one in the chamber. There are 2 people that I believe are calling in. I don't know if they have called in or not.
They have not called in yet.
Yeah, so they're not online yet.
Okay.
So
I'll make a motion to move item resolution 17620 up to when the people that are there to comment on it enter into the Zoom.
You can't really, that's not really it has to be after a thing. I think, Scott can let me know when those people log in, and then I can let you guys know, and then we can make the change at that time.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right, so going on to the second public appearance item, recognition of volunteer service with Fact TV for the Descubriendo Contigo Noticias y Recursos en Español. Lo siento, that was not very good. All right, let me go out to the front here. And as you know from the last meeting, this is Hispanic Heritage Month, and we've been doing a program in Spanish for over a year now with both Alder Orada Frada, Norma Gallegos Vellas, and also Lupita Montoto. And so we do have a certificate of appreciation that we were going to present to both Lupita and Norma. And thank you for your commitment and dedication to the City of Fitchburg and the Fact TV program, Descubriendo Contigo Noticias y Recursos en Español. Your volunteering for this programming is greatly appreciated. So I have a certificate. One for you, Norma. Thank you. And for you, Lupita. Thank you. Julia, would you like to speak a little bit more about this?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mayor, for doing this recognition to Lupita and Norma. We started with this project in August last year, and it took us a couple of months before. So we worked with Jeremy and his crew for a couple of months to determine how we were planning to do this project. And the idea is that since the city of Fitchburg has a large population in Spanish, and most of the information was not reaching to them, and some information about the city activity principally. So we decided it was a good idea to start with this project. So I want to thank you, the city of Fitchburg and Fact TV, for continue supporting this, because people from the Fact TV department had to invest a lot of time and hour and put it well with us, the divas we call us, So I want to thank you, Jeremy, Scott, and Andrew, because every week we are doing this program now via Zoom every Friday, so they help us a lot. We try to rotate, but I want to tell this is a great opportunity for us as a city to show the rest of the community that we are outreaching our Latino community in their own language and providing noticias, this new, and resources in Spanish. So this is the name of the show. So thank you very much to everyone. Thank you to Fact TV for this opportunity and continue supporting, and especially Lupita and Norma. We have, I think, more than 40 shows already. Sometime before COVID, we used to go to parks or another event. But, after, in the last 6 months, we have been doing this, via Zoom and some interviews. But the idea is when this is over, to come back and do the rest of the activities. So thank you very much. Muchas gracias, muchas gracias.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you, everyone, for supporting the show, and thank you for the great idea of launching this Spanish speakers show in the city of Fitchburg. Like you mentioned, the large population that you guys had in the city of Fitchburg is so important that now they can have the same news that the city of Fitchburg has in English with the Fact TV. Now they also can have it in Spanish. So this is a great opportunity. And I think it's the only city in Lane County that is doing this Spanish programming. So I'm so happy to be part of this. It's been a lot of volunteer hours throughout this year, but we're enjoying the road. And yeah, over 40 shows and more than 10 interviews and a lot of collaboration with the city of Fitchburg and Fact TV has been a great thing, and mostly because our Latino population is benefiting for the show. So we truly appreciate it, and we're looking forward for the next year. And we hope to have the opportunity to interview and get to know more of you guys, the board, and as well to continue highlighting and interviewing other businesses in the Fitchburg area and community organizations. So this is a great team, and we really enjoy it. And thank you for the opportunity, and looking forward for the upcoming months and years. And hopefully we can soon start doing the show live, because doing via Zoom is not as fun as being in person and being here in the studio and working with Scott and Jeremy and Andrew and everybody at the Fact TV. So you guys, thank you so much for the initiative, and thank you for the opportunity. And here's Norma.
Gracias. I'll just say thank you as a long-term resident of Fitchburg. With this, I feel more connected to our community here. It's been long overdue, so I appreciate having those diverse voices heard through this TV program. And I think this Hispanic Heritage Month, right, it's a great way to celebrate us and continue to hear our voices. Looking forward to continue this great TV and channel to get to know to our community a bit more. Thank you.
So then we're going to show you a video that is a summary of what we have done. So I hope you enjoy it. And I am telling you, I am not a professional person, so don't make fun of me, okay? Thank you.
Muy buenas tardes a todos nuestros televidentes de Descubriendo Contigo, noticias y recursos en español. Soy Lupita Montoto y en esta tarde me encuentro...
Los saludos a la comunidad salvadoreña, que es mes de independencia de El Salvador también. Yo soy orgullosa salvadoreña, así que aquí estamos, pero mil gracias.
Está pensando venir al parque, nos estamos esperando, el concierto empieza dentro de poco. Y entonces la fiesta.
Y a lo largo de todos estos años hemos servido a miles de personas a recibir educación y también recibir oportunidades.
Noticias y recursos en español. Y hoy estamos aquí celebrando la apertura de la nueva estación de bombero, la estación de bombero número 3, acá en la ciudad de Fitchburg. Y tengo conmigo a un invitado muy especial que es el jefe de los bomberos de la ciudad de Fitchburg. La está cosiendo ellos, pero tienen que protegerse, tienen que proteger la nariz y la boca, no solamente
Gracias, Lupita. Y bueno, seguimos con más notas también de bastante importancia. Así es, vámonos con la siguiente nota. Y bueno, como todos ustedes saben, el próximo... Gracias, Julia. Nos vemos en la próxima emisión de...
Saludos.
Digo, Noticias y Recursos en Español. Hasta la próxima.
Hasta la próxima. Chao.
All right. Gracias. All right. I do not have anything else for non-agenda items or public appearances. Moving on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
Second.
All right. Is there anything that anyone wants to remove from the consent agenda? Dorothy?
We need to separate out 5B5.
5B5, okay. And Gabriella, is there one that you want to separate?
I'd like to separate the minutes.
All right. Don't see anything else. So all in favor of approving the consent agenda besides the minutes and resolution R-17520, say aye.
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 And opposed, nay. All right. Let's do the minutes since it's first on the agenda. Do you need to update something, Gabriella?
Yeah, so I guess a little bit of a question. There is, on page 6, the Fahey Fields resolution. That resolution was passed as amended by finance, and I'm not clear on if that needs to be noted in the minutes.
All right, we can make that change. Tracy, do you want to comment on that?
Yep, I can certainly make those changes.
Great, thank you.
All right. Anything else? All right. On the minutes? I should say anything else on the minutes. Gabriella, do you want to make a motion then?
Make a motion to approve the draft minutes
As amended?
as amended.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Randy. All in favor of approving the minutes as amended, say aye.
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 And opposed, nay. All right, those are approved. And then Dorothy, you had something on 17520?
Yeah, I wanted to add the bike committee to the routing list for that, or the referral list. They have a meeting coming up on the 29th.
All right, we can add that. Anything else on 17520? All right, Dorothy, do you want to do a motion as amended?
Move to approve as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor of approving as amended, say aye.
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 And opposed, nay. All right, that is approved as amended. Joe, yeah?
So we have our guest speaking on 17620 here, so just wanted to note that.
I know we have 2 people registered. We don't have both though online yet, so we're still waiting for one more person. There's 2 people that are registered. All right, administrator's report. Pat.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a few items to discuss tonight. The first of which is on October 15th at 7 p.m. We'll have our annual EMS meeting, and that will be via Zoom. We encourage all the alders to attend that. We've had issues with a lack of a quorum in the past, so it'd be nice to have at least a quorum of our membership, of our elected officials in attendance at that meeting. We'll make sure that all of you get a link to that meeting. And again, it's October 15th at 7 p.m. The library Halloween hunt has been canceled, obviously due to the closure of the library and the current social distancing restrictions that we're going through with COVID. So that will be canceled at this time. We do not have word on Halloween yet. I will be meeting with the mayor and the police chief here shortly to make an executive decision on the Halloween trick-or-treating activities within the community. Tomorrow, we will have an apple pie drive-through at the senior center. It's $1 for a slice of rolling pin apple pie, and that's from 1 to 2 p.m. So we encourage everybody to come to the senior center, get a great piece of pie, and say hi to our seniors. And then on October 21st, we're going to have a drive-through flu shot clinic, and that'll be at Fire Station number 1. Number 1 is the fire station on Lacey Road. The senior center is teaming up with the Fitchburg Fire Department and the Fitchburg Family Pharmacy to provide a safe drive-through experience. Forms are available at the senior center. So again, that's Wednesday, October 21st from 9 to 11. 2 other items that I have. One is in the last couple of weeks, we had a tour of the new Oregon school, Forest View, located in Terra Vista. That full tour video is now online on our website for anybody that wasn't able to make that. So alders, staff members, members of the public, we encourage you to view that video. It's a great new school for our community. I would guess that our alders in attendance would agree with that, and we had a great 1-hour tour of that facility. We also have a tour on fact of the new Hop House, and it's not just a tour, it's a story, family story about the Hop House, and that is on Fact TV online. And the other thing is on October 30th, the new bridge on McKee Road, the bicycle bridge, will be open. It looks as though we're going to have some sort of community event, whether that's virtual or in person. We're not sure yet, but we'll keep you posted. That will be for the opening of the new bike bridge. That's October 30th, and we got a little bit of time to get you posted on that. So that's all I have at this time, Mayor.
All right. Any questions for Pat? Julia? Yeah, go ahead.
Microphone.
Okay. Pat, 2 things. Some neighbor told me that they have seen bicycle crossing the bridge. And they asked me, is open? And I say, I don't think so, but I don't know if you are aware of those. People are group of bicyclists. Okay.
I'm not aware of it. It's not officially open.
Okay.
I'm sure if it was unsafe, it would be blocked off.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, and the other one is, can you organize a tour to visit the high school in Verona? Because in my case, my district represents Verona, and I want to, I don't know if possible.
Yep, I'm actually working on that right now with the Verona.
Okay, thank you.
With Dean Gorel over at Verona Schools.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right. Gabriella, do you have a question?
Yeah, so just wanted to clarify something, Pat. I'm really glad that to hear about the drive-through flu shot. So do you have to fill out a form in advance in order to be eligible for that, or can you just drive up on the day and fill out whatever paperwork is required?
It sounds like, from what the information I have here, sounds like you need to fill out a form at our senior center prior to that.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a waiver or some sort of registration, but I can check on that and get that information to you.
Yeah, because I'd love to push that out. So yeah, I'd love to know the answer. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Randy?
Just one question, Pat. The school tour, Forest Edge, was that just a one-time, or For those that did not attend, you just want us to go online?
You can either view it online, or I can attempt to get another tour set up. Given that there's not many students there now, it shouldn't be difficult to do, but I can try to get another tour set up in the next month or so.
If you could, since it's in District 4, I would be interested in a tour of the school.
Randy, if you go, I'll go with you.
I'd love to join as well.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Okay.
I know that there's not kids in the building in the mornings. I don't know if that works for people. Otherwise, about 3 o'clock, they're gone. So I would guess it would probably be
Flexible here.
somewhere like that. All right, I don't see any more questions for Pat. So I know that our 2 people who have registered to speak are both online. So if there's no objections, I'll just move up number 17620. So I don't think there's any objections, so I'll just go ahead and move that up. Joe, do you want to do the motion?
Sure. I move to adopt Resolution 17620, change of District 1 polling location.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dorothy. Did Finance approve this? Yes. It did? Okay. Joe, do you want to kind of tell us what you got here and where we're at?
Sure. Continuation of previous meetings. At our last council meeting, we discussed, that the combination of polling places, or the splitting of polling places in District 1 was not allowed by the county clerk. So immediately after, we connected with Dave Heidi, the owner of Liliana's and new owner of Little John's, which is going to be on Verona Road, facing Anton Drive. We took a tour of the place, and I'm sure Tracy will talk more about it, but the chief inspectors were there as well as the 2 alders, and it looked like the building panned out for a polling location for November logistically. I know Tracy will probably talk about some of the challenges ahead, but I'm pretty confident in this location being a suitable polling place and also an equitable polling place for the upcoming presidential elections.
All right. Tracy, do you want to speak to some of the feedback from everyone who was at, I'm not sure who all went on the tour, but if you could speak to that and give some more information, that'd be great.
Sure. So, yes, we visited the site on September 16th with the chiefs, Alders Maldonado and Krause. David Heidi was present, and I'm sorry, I don't remember his partner's name. He was present as well.
He's here right now, Adam.
Adam. Hi, Adam. And Greg Jones of the NAACP was present as well. And I wish David nothing but success on this new venture with Little John's and, all he plans to do for the community. It sounds like it's going to be a great thing that he's doing. Did you want me to talk about some of the concerns?
Yeah, if you can just do that. I think it's helpful for those who are going to speak to hear that before they speak. I know in the past we've had people complain that they speak and then a bunch of information comes out after. So if you just provide information on the feedback that you got, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, some of the concerns that were brought up was the fact that he doesn't actually have a signed lease yet. I know we received the permission today from the board, from Little John's board, and we received written permission from the owner and the landlord. But that permission was only granted for the November 3rd election. It didn't sound like it was granted for any future elections. Another concern was they mentioned that they would be getting Wi-Fi, but as of right now, they don't have it. Along with not having a signed lease. I don't know if the lease has been signed yet or not. Greg Jones had actually brought up a fact that I didn't think of, was the fact that it's a restaurant And even though they may not be actually cooking or serving food on election day, there's still that potential for food allergies for not only the workers, but for people coming in to vote on election day. They talked about a plan to remove the carpet and begin remodeling a corner of the space that will take place prior to and possibly during the November election. So I caution public assembly in a space that is under construction. They also mentioned they'll be doing additional remodeling in the future that will affect that space for the February and April elections in 2021, but it doesn't sound like we have approval for those elections anyway. COVID may not be gone by then, and it could prove challenging if social distancing would still need to be enforced in February and April. And we're not quite sure what that space is actually going to look like after they do, remodel that space in its entirety. I do caution to not think about a long-term solution to a polling location that could be relied on for the next 5 or even 10 years. A location owned by the city or county would have much more longevity and control when scheduling days of the elections over a business. An example I can give you is Candlewood Suites. We had a beautiful site for a polling location, and they decided that they were going to add a breakfast bar to that location, cutting the room in half. So we had to pretty much scramble to find a new polling location quickly. And in addition, a business could opt to close their doors at any time. So we never know, what they're going to do in the future with like a fire station. We know a fire station is going to be there, and we know if it plans to move or not be there, we know that that's going to happen and when. I also caution the timing of this change in the voter confusion, not to put words in Greg Jones's mouth, but he was also very concerned about voter confusion and the timing of moving this polling location so close to this election and not being able to give proper notice to people that would be affected by their polling location. There's a lot of mailers that are going out right now, and a postcard could easily be dismissed with all the election mail hitting mailboxes. My greatest concern would be for a voter that did not receive their notice of polling location change and only to go to Marketplace Fire Station at 5 to 8, see there's a sign on the door that their polling location has changed and not have enough time to get there and cast their ballot. Just to let you know, for future, the city has been working to relocate District 1 polling location back to the previous location on King James Way. That building is now owned by the county, and we're looking for this to take place after the redistricting that will be complete in the fall of 2021. So when the census comes out and the redistricting, that's when we're looking at trying to get that location back from the county. That would also give us ample time to inform the affected voters, not once, but multiple times over the summer and the fall, of their polling location change that would take effect in 2022. If voters feel that they cannot vote because their polling location is not within walking distance, we really all need to do a better job on all levels of educating voters of their options and resources. I've been with the clerk's department for just over 12 years, and my job does not allow me to go to my polling location to vote, but I've never missed an election, I can tell you that for sure. If you look at the past percentages of voter participation in 2016 elections and the King James Way location versus the 2018 results for the governor's race, you'll also see that those numbers increased in 2018 when the polling location moved to Marketplace. I did share that Excel spreadsheet with you alders today, just kind of showing the turnout for the April election and the November election in 2016. That took place when we did have our polling location at King James Way. And then the governor's race that took place in 2018 when that polling location was moved to Marketplace. And you'll see that that percentage did go up as far as participation for that district.
All right. Thank you. Oh, we'll get to the, hold on. No, we're not doing discussion and questions yet. First, we're going to have the residents weigh in, and then we can get into council discussion and questions.
This is, Mr. Mayor, this is related to that because one of the speakers is actually one of the staff members at Little John's, and I think he'd be able to address some of Tracy's specific concerns because he was there.
So we're going to those guys.
Between designating him as a, like a witness or whatever versus being a, resident speaking on behalf of the issue? I think his role is a little bit different in this case because some of the specific things that Tracy brought up, we had discussed, and I think he would be able to address.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that I think it's Adam is actually not a resident wishing to speak. He's actually representing the possible polling location.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Adam, if you want to go ahead and speak to whatever it is you want to speak to, go ahead.
Yep. Hello, my name is Adam Hain. I'm the food services director for Little John's. I'm not sure if Dave signed the lease today or if they're signing it tomorrow. It's been up in the air as we were waiting for the landlord to be able to get to him to get it signed. They had a few issues they were changing over in it, but we will have a signed lease by end of this week for sure. It should be either, I'm hoping end of day tomorrow. We also have a meeting tomorrow with our architect, with the building, with the builders, and we will be getting as soon as the lease is signed, we will be getting the contract signed for internet. That's another one of the things we're addressing tomorrow. So there will be internet in there long before the election. There should be internet in there hopefully by the end of next week because I need it so I can stop using my phone as a tether while I'm working there. Currently, there is over 10,000 square feet of space that will be available to be used. We will be pulling up carpets and things like that just because they're old carpets. We don't want to have a tripping hazard. It's all cement floor underneath, so it'll be fine. We'll have entry rugs and whatnot at the entrance and exits for people to wipe their feet during bad times if there's snow or whatnot. Also, we have a plan the architect just sent me during this meeting, actually, an updated plan with elevations that I can share with Joe after the meeting or tomorrow when I get a chance to kind of look at them a little bit of what the space will be eventually. Well, it's called Little John's Restaurant. The main thing we're doing is making food that's going to go out into the community. We'll have a small pay, which kind of cafe eventually. It's going to be a low allergen as it is, and during days of elections, we won't be running it. There won't be, for November, there won't be any food process in there yet. We won't have anything set up. There may be construction, but we're not even sure yet because of getting the lease done, getting construction approvals, all that kind of stuff takes time. So it might be that we have nothing going, or if we do, it will, as the city zoning has already said is allowed, we'll have the space closed off, locked, and not available to the public at all, so it won't be a safety hazard. And then once construction is done, there will be two 2,000 square foot multi-use rooms, plus the entryway and common areas that will, with exits and entrance and everything, would in the future give roughly 5,000 to 6,000 square feet of space for the election, which I believe is significantly more than we have at the fire station right now. I'm not sure of the exact square footage there. So that kind of answers those concerns. The reason that the landlord did not give for future permissions for elections is because once we have the signed lease, then it's in our purview for that. So he didn't feel that he needed to go any further than that because we'd be able to make all decisions and all offerings after that point. So that answers those. Were there other questions on that part of it?
I think if there's anything else you need to share with us, you can just go ahead and do that, Adam.
Okay. Part of the reason that I talked to Joel about coming and speaking here is I've been working in Madison as a chief inspector for quite some time, and I know it's slightly different, but looking at the space personally, drool over that. I've had to do elections, presidential elections even, in very small libraries, in school gymnasiums where we've got a agility course set up for the kids that they just couldn't take down because there's too many 2x4s and whatnot. Right now, it is a completely wide open space that has literally nothing in it. So it can be set up however it needs to. There's tons of electricity throughout. lots of lights. We have an event planner who said if we don't have enough parking lot lights, he has portable lights he'll bring out. So we just want to make sure that the people who are in that neighborhood have a good, safe, walkable place to get to. That was just a concern that we had heard from people in the community, that they felt they had to go pretty far to get to the firehouse, and they just wanted to be able to walk to a place and have ample parking and whatnot, which we also have there. As for the future, can we promise anything? No, but that's the way the world works. I mean, something could happen in the fire station and it might not be there in a year as well. Our plan is to run this as long as humanly possible, which is a very long time. We don't plan on changing anything after that. If anything, it'll just be that the place expands, we do more with it. So we're just, like I said, trying to do something in the community, make sure that we have a good, safe space there and make it readily available.
All right, thank you. All right, we can go to citizen comments. Scott, who do you like to go to first?
Shelley, you'd like to start?
Shelley, all right. Go ahead, Shelley.
And you're muted.
We've all done it at least once.
Okay, so this is my third time being here on this issue. I think everybody knows where I stand. I support the resolution. I support, for equity reasons, all the other things, all the other things I've said and everybody else has said in these prior two council meetings. I support moving the location. Last time, some might recall, I was somewhat frustrated, and I have to say I'm frustrated again. I do not see a will on the part of the city, other than some alders, to try to remove some of the voting obstacles of these neighborhoods. I don't know why. It seems like there's an emphasis on why something will not work rather than how it can work. I hope that can be overcome and that we can get a polling place in that District 1 within that neighborhood. I know there's voiced concern about voter confusion, and I have to say, I don't quite understand it, and frankly, I think it's somewhat patronizing and insulting to the intelligence of voters that when they get all of the educational material that they're going to get, and I'm sure it won't be just one postcard, there will be other leafleting. I will pay for yard signs if that's what it's going to take, but I think people are capable of knowing where they should go to vote. Yes, there might be some who go, who are a little confused at some point, but that just pales in comparison to the equity issues for why this site needs to be moved. And thank you.
Thank you. All right, who do we have next, Scott?
Elizabeth, your turn.
All right, go ahead, Elizabeth.
Thank you. I also spoke last time, so I won't repeat too much. As I said, last time, a reminder that pedestrian deaths for people of color are significantly higher than white people. The low-income people pay significantly more portion of their income on transportation than middle or higher income people, and that is because of issues like this. The issues that were mentioned as problems seem a lot smaller than the issue of essentially blocking somebody from voting by creating an inaccessible location. Expecting somebody to take a cab or to cross a dangerous street essentially makes it inaccessible. It does sound like most of the issues have been resolved according to what Adam said, or could come up in all sorts of locations, like any location with a break room probably has a food allergy issue. And then the last thing I want to mention is that this election is going to have significantly higher turnout or more interest than elections in the next 2 years. So I think it is wrong to decide you can just wait till redistricting or down the line as if this is just a typical election, knowing the amount of energy and interest that's always around a presidential election, nonetheless this one. And finally, I just want to make sure to point out, when we talk about equity, we can't just look at the number of people who voted in 2016 and the number of people who voted in 2018 at an election. You have to consider who weren't able to vote, what those people look like, what other structural barriers they face in society. And considering it that way, I think it's unfair to suggest it's a small problem that somebody might not be able to walk to the location. So I urge you to support the resolution. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else online, Scott?
That's all.
All right, then I have some emails from people as well. I have Mary Power from Fitchburg, who is registering in support. Mike Leon from Fitchburg, registering in support. Jennifer Fenney from Fitchburg, registering in support. Jackie Captain from Fitchburg, registering in support. Debbie Goose Caffrey from Fitchburg, registering in support. Juanita Ryan from Fitchburg, registering in support. Rebecca Rice from Fitchburg, registering in support. Michael Weber from Madison, registering in support. Carrie Haugen from Fitchburg, registering in support. Megan Siebert from Fitchburg, registering in support. Kate Pren from Fitchburg, registering in support. David Deal from Fitchburg, registering in support. Jake Johnson from Fitchburg, registering in support. Rita and David Off from Fitchburg, registering in support. Christine Waiters from Fitchburg, registering in support. Leslie Wright from Fitchburg, registering in support. Kelly Haslam from Fitchburg, registering in support. Jean Musser from Fitchburg, registering in support. Franny Lyons from Fitchburg, registering in support. Regina Ryan from Fitchburg, registering in support. Rachel Glaza from Fitchburg, registering in support. Ryan Hulsman, registering in support. And Elizabeth Cox from Fitchburg, registering in support. All right, so that is what I have for public comments. And so we can go to Alder questions, comments, anything like that. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, Mayor, I just got an email from Adam. It's got the floor plan, and I emailed it to the alders as well as the clerk, the city manager, and Misty. I can real quickly screen share it if I'm allowed, just so that folks can see it. I know the alders will have access to it, but also just wanted to make sure the public saw it as well. I'm not competent to be able to talk through this because I just got it, but I will just show you briefly if that helps. Let's see.
All right, so yeah, if you want to put that up on there.
Yeah.
All right, anything else, or should I go to someone else?
Yeah, Adam, do you have any comments on it?
Yeah, so what's currently listed as community space is what would be available. Those are each, one is 1930 and one is 2070. So that'll be 4,000 square feet there, plus the entryway. What is currently available to be used, like in November, would be the community spaces, the entryway, where the bathrooms are currently marked. There's nothing, so that'll also be open. And where the commissary kitchen, if there is any construction going on at all, it will only be the training kitchen and restaurant area. That would be the only space closed off. So the rest of this, nearly 10,000 square feet, will be open and available for use.
All right. Anyone else want to comment? Gabriella.
I just wanted to first start off by thanking Adam and the staff at Little John's. I think it's really great the work that you've put in the last couple of weeks to, bring this proposal forward and make this possible. So, and thank you for showing up tonight and being so fantastic on that. And I also want to thank the residents that came to speak. Shelley and Elizabeth have been here for all the meetings, and I know that's a lot of time on your part. So thank you so much for showing up. And then also Tracy, thanks for putting in the work. I know that we this is clearly very important to all of us. So appreciate that you put the time in to make this happen. I am really excited that this is something that can work. I think the residents that spoke really nailed it in terms of why this is important in terms of equity and why this is important for this moment in time, given the importance of this particular election in our country's history. And yeah, I mean, I think I've said a lot about this already. I think this is a really great proposal. I am very much in support of taking the lead from Alders Maldonado and Krause. They have determined that this is the right thing for their district. They are the two that know this district, and I trust them to make that assessment. And if they are 100% behind this and have worked so hard to move this through, and even despite all the challenges, I think that's a real indication that this is something that needs to happen. And I'm excited to support it.
Anyone else? Yeah, Sarah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess I would just love to pick Tracy's brain a little bit more about the feasibility of being in this location. I think that having a location that's more easily accessible would be fantastic. However, some things were said that really raised some red flags in my mind, where if we have no internet, I can't imagine, like, have you done testing that you feel confident that the Badger Book systems would work? Or I appreciate that the lease would be signed, but just the call out that there have been hiccups, are we confident that there's not going to be any more hiccups? That, I guess, just from a confidence opinion, because I think without a doubt, I would love it if this polling location was more accessible to everyone within the district, and I think this should be a priority. But I think that we also just have to keep in mind that the election actually needs to occur. We need to have a building with a lease. We need to have internet. That these specific topics just can't be undersold, that they have to be functioning in order for the election to be successful. Because I think we want every vote counted. We want to encourage every single individual who can vote to vote. So yeah, let's make it as easy as possible, but we actually still have to hold a successful election, which means having a space, having internet, and feeling confident that we're not going to run into any concerns.
Point of information. I think that Adam had mentioned that internet should be installed within the week and that the lease should be signed tomorrow.
Yeah, within the next 2 weeks, the internet, yeah. But we still haven't tested it, I think is their point. All right, other comments at all?
Yes, I'd like to
go
make
ahead.
one.
Go ahead.
So I forgot to mention, this is also in the resolution. I failed to mention it, but I thought it went without saying, is that League of Women Voters will continue to donate for a mailer. If I'm not mistaken, we also, as a city, have space in the Fitchburg Star as well for advertising, and I would likely, I think it was mentioned, but Alder Krause and I would also distribute whatever design we came up with in terms of a mailer. I would blast it on social media. I would email it to every resident that I have access to on my voter list. And, as you've probably heard me say, I'm doing voter registration in Allied, Duns Marsh, and we'll be doing it in the Jamestown neighborhood as well. So I'd be glad to distribute the same material, so we're sending the same message as well. So there's some consistency.
All right, Dorothy, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question for Adam. Why do you have your hand raised? What would you like to say?
Whether we have the lease signed or not, we already have permission from the landlord and his commitment to let the building be used for November. I don't foresee the lease not being signed by, like I said, the end of tomorrow. The only hiccups were that anytime there's a large business lease, there's always two lawyers that were involved, and they wanted to nitpick on language. That was the only issue on it, and they've gotten that ironed out. but there is a polling place available there for November, whether or not it's Little John's holding the lease or whether it's still A1 Furniture. We have that permission from them. So that was the other thing that we volunteered to, is that if needs be, we'll put a really big sign up on all sides of the building saying new polling place, please call, have the, whatever the number is you guys want on it to get people to know that it's there.
Dorothy, did you have anything else? I saw Tracy with your hand up. I'll go to you next, Tracy. But Dorothy, do you have anything else?
I'll hand that over to Tracy for now.
Okay, go ahead, Tracy.
Just to kind of let everybody know, when it comes to leasing and owning a building, we've had businesses that are looking to expand their alcohol premise out into the street. They lease that building. We need to have permission in writing from the owner that they're okay with that procedure taking place. You leasing the building means you lease the building for your business. If you're doing something other than your business or doing something different than what your business was originally leased for, that needs to be approved by an owner. I'm very concerned about the fact that we're only talking about the November election, and we're talking about the November election, 39, 40 some days prior to it taking place. Testing of equipment. To answer your question, Sarah, the Badger books don't run on internet. They are routed to each other. However, the DS200, the tabulating machine, runs on internet. That's how the results are sent to the county. And they need to have those results by a certain time. So yes, we need reliable internet, and we need to know that DS200 machine will work with that. Not knowing what the space is going to look like for future elections, or if we even have permission from the owner for future elections. I'm kind of looking at your floor plan there, and if social distancing needs to take place, we'd route them in through the front door into the building and then possibly out that side door. But depending on where your parking lot is and if it gets moved somewhere else, that's an awful long way to walk back around to the parking lot, and then you're kind of crossing traffic there. And I believe one of our chiefs had brought up that topic as well, not being able to utilize that side door anymore after your big remodel.
All right, I have Dorothy if you wanted to speak. Otherwise, I have Randy and Julia on the list after that.
It looks like Adam had a response to Tracy.
Well, I can put Adam on the list, but we don't want to keep going back and forth, so I'll get to you, Adam. Dorothy, did you want to speak now, or you still want to wait?
Yeah, I mostly just want to give huge kudos to so many people that have been so involved. Joe has done the yeoman's work on coordinating all this. I've kind of stood back because too many cooks can become a problem. But so many people, including Casey at Redeemer and people at the Boys and Girls Club and the League of Women Voters, a lot of staff, certainly the chiefs that have attended 2 different site possibilities now. So many people need to be acknowledged for helping to put in so much work. We have people that really are going to want to be able to vote, and the more obstacles we can eliminate for them, the better off our society will be. So that's all huge for me.
All right, I have Randy. Go ahead.
Yes, I do want to echo some of what Dorothy just said. Kudos to many people just to knock down those roadblocks for citizens to vote. But just from a project manager experience, an engineer for, I'm going to say AT&T, this question goes to Adam. That request for internet, this is really critical. Have you already looked into the internet service of of the request itself? Because if that building is not internet, if there's no internet, no fiber at that building now, it could take up to, I understand that the duration has been cut down from 180 days to somewhere in the 90-day range with AT&T. Well, maybe there's another provider that can provide it sooner. I just want to make certain that, this could be a very big hiccup. So I just want to make certain that we have all of our bases covered and that we can make November 3rd work at this date. Because if somebody drops the ball on requesting that date, it's going to be a very big embarrassment for all of us. I don't know if, Adam, you can speak to that?
Yep. So up until very recently, that was an active business. It was A1 Furniture. They still have items in there. They're taking them out this week as we speak, but it's still wired for internet for all of that. So it's just a matter of getting things switched over and getting it turned back on. So yes, they had active offices throughout that building and they had active internet. So that's not an issue at all. In response to the parking lot question earlier, parking lot's not moving. Yes, there will be a kitchen back there. But we've already said that during the election, we'll have the kitchen shut down so we can still route people out through that door. We'll just end up putting plastic covers over all the cooking equipment and everything, making sure that we have carpets, have rugs down through the kitchen so there's not a slip hazard or anything. But that side door will still be accessible going out through the kitchen to the parking lot. So that's available there. And I don't remember what any other questions that anybody had asked, but yes, the internet has been there until just very recently when they turned it off, when they moved all their operations to the Stoughton Road in Madison.
All right, Julia, go ahead.
Yeah, so I want to make some clarification about social distancing issue. We are going to have it with all the location, okay, no matter what, because this one is going to be a different type of election. But I, seeing the number that Tracy sent today in an email, how many people are voting absentee. So I don't think there is going to be, I think for our conversation today, Tracy, only 25, we are expecting only 25% of the votes, Fitchburg voters to vote in person, so in all the districts. So I will say that social distancing is not going to be an issue. And it's not going to be in this location. It's going to be in all the locations. Second, the internet. So we are using a hotel, a business right now. So we can have the same issue with that hotel that internet go, that day. So, and what happened to the fire station? So the internet can go bad. It doesn't matter where it is. So I think that we are putting too many excuses here to an obstacle to move forward. So I think that we need to concentrate in how we can make this happen, and instead of bringing more obstacle to this. This is I know the place because I have been shopping there. I've seen they have great parking lot. It's a huge space. And it was a business. It was running until recently. So internet is there, or it was there. So it's and we have how many days? 45 days to election that we can test all our equipment. So I will say let's concentrate on how can making this happen instead throwing more excuses. Thank you.
Joe, I just saw your hand there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think Adam very in a detailed way addressed many of the issues that I'm hearing from either staff or fellow alders. I think I want to address a couple that weren't brought up. One is timing. So, if you'll recall, and it's on YouTube, we had a discussion about consolidating polling places at the end of June. And at that meeting, I heard at least 6 alders, as well as the city clerk, talk about making a change for November because August was too soon. So I want to let the public know this, and this isn't to, this isn't to be negative. This isn't to, badmouth or anything, but we have had a lot of time to be able to work on this, and we have been, particularly our partners, who have offered their spaces, And I think we could have done this in a lot more timely of a fashion, seeking out these places early and very soon after the actual discussion. And I think we would have gotten a lot further to the point where the issue of timing wouldn't be an excuse. The second thing is that we are within the legal limits to be able to change a polling place. Our county clerk clarified that, and it's law. Polling places have been changed before. We're clearly making a commitment, because we have been, to actually spreading the word on this. And the last thing I want to say is that, everybody's individual experiences are their own, but that does not change the fact that there still remain systemic barriers. And depending on who you are, depending on what your life is like, you're going to experience things different. I had somebody tell me all voters in Wisconsin have access to the same things. And I just frankly have to disagree with that, because all voters do not have access to the same things. Yes, you may be able to get a ride to the poll through Union Cab, but who feels comfortable or safe necessarily hopping in one? Yes, people can vote absentee and vote early, but how many people have access to all of the right information? And people have different access to different things in life that affect polling, where they live, whether they have a vehicle, whether they have a disability. All of those things are issues. And again, at one point we had polling within the neighborhood, and I've went back and reviewed council meetings for the past year, and the previous council was talking about this in 2019. We're still talking about this now. We've been proactive, and our partners have been proactive. Let's honor the work that they've put in to be able to, make this happen, because timing is an excuse if we've been the reason that there's been the delay. Again, this is all on record. You can go back into all of our council meetings dating back to 2019, and you will see people making clear commitments to actually making this happen. Let's make it happen.
All right. I don't see anyone else. So Tom, go ahead.
Tracy, a couple questions, Tracy. Were you with some I'm drawing a blank, polling supervisors or polling
Chiefs.
people when you took this tour?
Yes, I was. I was with the two chiefs that are for the District 1, and they've been the chiefs since before I worked the clerk's office.
That's what I was after, thanks, the chiefs. And what was their thought about it? I mean, was it a thumbs
They had
up?
concerns regarding the remodel portion of it that would be taking place. And they had concerns about the routing for the parking lot taking place, and just the overall concerns of, not having a lease sign, not having internet yet. There were two about voter confusion and timing of getting notices out in a timely fashion, and enough time and enough notices out.
I didn't hear, and I could have missed it, I didn't hear anything about disability. I mean, it could be there already. Is there, for people with disabilities, is there no problem, or is that?
Yeah, there's no problem. There's handicap parking spaces, there's ramps, if you,
That was all.
there's wheelchair accessibility, excuse me. Okay. So yes, those are in place.
Okay.
In fact, we have guidelines. We have to go with, the Elections Commission actually has a report that they put out that we have to go through step by step and go through questions and take measurements to find out about a polling location. So it's more than just finding a good spot. It's a matter of actually going through what's acceptable for the Elections Commission and for laws. So.
Okay. And the other question I have for you, before this site was looked at, was the city looking at the old fire station that the county owns, or, the county has. Were we looking at that before? What's the story on that?
Yes, so the story on that is we've always been looking for a place to get back over on that side of Verona Road. When that firehouse went up for sale, we didn't know who was gonna purchase it. When we found out that the county purchased it, there was discussion right then and there about being able to utilize that space again as a future polling location because of the fact that it had already been one, it worked well. People in the neighborhood were familiar with it. There were no complaints about it that I had known of with it being a polling location in the past. There was discussion about with the redistricting, after the census and with the redistricting, and we've been in contact with the county. We're waiting for information from them as to when and if we can utilize that space as a polling location moving forward. That this would take place at the end of the 2021 year when the redistricting was complete. And again, like I said earlier, that would give us ample time in the summer and the fall to let all the voters know that your polling location is now changed from Marketplace back to the King James Way location prior to February of 2022.
Thank you. A couple comments. Just, I want to make it clear before I say anything that I appreciate the work that Joe and Dorothy have done. I don't question that at all. But I think you want to remember that when we were a township and we became a city, there's never been a time, let's make it real clear, there's never been a time that people haven't been able to vote, that people haven't been able to cast a ballot, that people can't get to the polls. There are probably some that can't, but we try to make that easy for them. What I've heard tonight, Sarah started it. There's some questions here. Right from the individual, there's not a guarantee, and there's not a guarantee in life. I get it. I get that. But there's not a guarantee with this. Randy's question about Wi-Fi wasn't answered by Adam. That wasn't answered. I listened to that very, very closely. And I can't believe an alder brought up that we don't need self-distancing. What? I mean, wait a minute. Be careful. That's not an issue. I think it's a huge issue. When a lot of people go to vote, you want to make sure, especially in the times we're in, that we have self-distancing.
Point of information, who said that?
It's not important. It's not important.
Hold on. We cannot just jump in and we need to be called on.
Information. I'm curious about something because
that's not a point of information.
I'd like
All right.
the
So moving on.
Let me just finish. I'll just finish.
We don't interrupt other people.
I'll just finish. This isn't about the League of Women Voters. This isn't about somebody's emails that they can send out information to. This is about people going to the polls and making their own choice. I get it. I totally get it. But with the uncertainty of this, and not a guarantee for the future, keep in mind, I think the clerk has some good experience and is being not heard. I'll leave it there.
I just have one question, Tracy. Just want to clarify. I know you sent out some information earlier today about previous elections and turnout. And so if I'm reading this correctly, I'm just going to stick to November. In November 2016, which was a presidential election, so our biggest elections, District 1 had 67% turnout, and this was at the, I guess, old fire station, if you will. And then 2 years later, we had changed to the current location at the new fire station, if you will, on Marketplace for the governor election in November 2018. And it looks like we're just shy of 75% turnout in District 1. So I just want to make sure I'm reading that right, that at the new location, we actually have 8% more turnout. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, I have Julia next.
Yeah, so I want to clarify something because you, Tom, I think misunderstood me. I said that we are going to have social issue in every location, social distancing. I never said that social distancing is not an issue, okay? So don't confuse and don't put things in my mouth that I didn't say. So I want to clarify to everyone watching. Social distancing is a new issue that is going to happen in all the location if we have a lot of people coming to vote in person. But since according to the number that is coming, okay, maybe there is around 24% of voters in the city of Fitchburg that they are gonna be voting in person. The city of Fitchburg has around 17 people that voters eligible to vote. So 24% so far is the number that Tracy told me today that maybe we are expected to come and vote in person. So this is what I mentioned, so, okay? So I want to clarify that.
All right, I have Gabriella and then Dorothy after that. Oh, you're on mute.
Maybe Adam should answer first, and then I'd like to go after him, if that's okay, Aaron. I think Adam has a comment.
I guess I didn't. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your hand there within the light. Sorry, Adam, go ahead.
Your point of order.
Yeah, go ahead.
This discussion should only be among the alders.
Okay, thank you. I was wondering about that. The discussion at this point needs to stick among council members. Go ahead, Gabriella.
I guess, so I think the thing that we should be centering here is clearly there are logistical challenges, but every single one, I was taking notes as Tracy was going through all the challenges, Wi-Fi, permission, allergies, remodeling, and every single one of those was very satisfactorily Adam responded to, and said that this is going to be something that they can handle, they're going to make work. And to be honest, I'm very impressed with the fact that Adam and the Little John staff they're not only saying that they can make this work, they're saying, we will make this work. I think that's very clear from what his statements are. So that's very impressive unto itself. So I'm very confident that we can work through any of these logistical issues. And then the only other issue that I think the only issue left that's relevant, I think, is voter education. And I am also 100% confident that we can make that happen. We have an organization that's pledged to put money behind contacting voters. I know that a lot of the alders have every intention, including myself, have every intention of spreading this word widely. We can be in the October Fitchburg Star in multiple ways. And to be honest, if I can get a list of people that haven't gotten absentee ballots that could potentially go to the polls, I will literally drop a postcard on every people's door. Just put it on their door handle if that's what it takes to get people. Because here's the bottom line. Maybe this isn't convenient to change, and maybe it's not the perfect scenario. But if we do not change this, what we're doing is we're guaranteeing that people will be disenfranchised. For this election, if we decide to not take this step, we have the opportunity to make things better. And if we as a council decide not to take this step, we are guaranteeing that people will be disenfranchised, and this time it will be the fault of the council. Because we didn't make the choice to improve the situation. Granted, it's not perfect, it's gonna be complicated, but we should make this happen. Because right now, for the first time in a long time, this decision is on us. And if we don't make the decision to do this, people are not gonna be able to vote. And in my mind, that's absolutely unacceptable. Thank you.
I have Dorothy and then Joe after that.
Thank you. I just wanted to point out that in elections, numbers are not the only thing. In the 2016 presidential election, I think the majority of people figured we know how this is going to turn out. It didn't turn out that way, but it was presumed how it was going to turn out. So a lot of people didn't bother to go vote. In 2018, we had the governor race that was it was incredibly high interest race that a lot of people turned out because of that race period, had nothing to do with the location of the polling place. It was a high turnout election because of that gubernatorial race that we had.
All right, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, so you know, I've been in a couple of council meetings where people have said things that are inaccurate, and then I went back and reviewed the records and found out that was true. So I just want to like put it very clearly on the record. Adam did answer Randy's question, and if he did not, I'd like, you know, Alder Udell to address that and let, you know, him know whether there was additional follow-up that he had. But I think Adam has answered every question that people have posed to him. Also, again, I just want to reiterate that, you know, Alder Clowder, please be accurate when you're, you know, saying what happened, because clearly no Alder here said that social distancing is not an issue. That would be grossly irresponsible. Please be careful with your words.
All right, are you ready to roll call votes? Or someone else want to say something? A reminder, this is a budget amendment, so we need 2/3, which is 6 out of 8. Oh, Sarah, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to say one last thing. So I guess I'm disappointed in this, where I desperately wanted to change this to have it be closer. And yes, Joe, I agree with you that I think Little John's and Adam has done a fantastic job of answering questions, but the fact that there's still uncertainty makes me very uneasy. I've tried to research studies, and they show that even from changing polling locations, declines in voter turnout is just ranging from -1% to -3% because there's just confusion. So I'd want it to be as succinct. Like, I just feel like it has to be buttoned up. We can't mess around with this election. And yes, I appreciate so much, and I can't stress enough as to how awesome of a partner Little John's has been. But the fact that the lease is still outstanding and the internet is still outstanding just gives me hesitation and doesn't make it feel buttoned up. And as a reminder, this was something that was previously was going to be a teen center. So like, it's not like we've had clear communication on this if from looking back at previous meetings. So things not being buttoned up can come back to bite us. And regarding this election, we can't mess around. Everyone needs to be able to get out and vote. We need every vote we possibly can. So Little John's has been awesome. Adam, thank you very much for answering the questions, but I really do wish things were completely clean. We were buttoned. There were no questions. We came into this and everything felt like it was a clean laid out plan, and I knew exactly how things were going to be handled.
All right, I got Gabriella and then Dorothy after that.
I just want to I want to reiterate what I said before, but just leave us with one statement that, yes, there's some uncertainty, but a little bit of uncertainty and some difficulty figuring things out is worth making sure that people have the right to vote. That is, like, let's think about that. Like, yes, things aren't exactly right. We don't have every answer, although I do believe that the answers to, Wi-Fi and ownership have been very, very clearly addressed by Adam. So I don't think that those should be concerns, but if that's still a concern in your mind, I think what should concern you more is the fact that we have a polling place that is disenfranchising voters in Fitchburg. I think that is unacceptable. I think we have demonstrated in the last several meetings how many people came out and gave statements that the city thinks it's unacceptable. And I just want to make it very clear to all the alders that how you vote today, it's very clear to me that you're voting to either let something go on a technicality and disenfranchise the voters, or you're going to go with what supports the people in Fitchburg. That's the choice. And I think it really is that stark. And that's what I'll leave you with.
All right, Dorothy, go ahead.
And I completely agree with Gabriella. so many people fight so hard for people that can't fight for themselves. I've been doing it as long as I've been on council. I've been frustrated most of the time. I've been diligently working on all kinds of issues related to the people who tend to be ignored by most of the city. It would be a horrible shame and a black mark on all of us, particularly those who say, no, the details are too important. We can't do it until it's 100% ironed out. 95, 98% is not a good enough number for me, so I'm going to vote against it. It's not going to look good on us if this doesn't pass. We are going to look like a city that doesn't care about our residents, particularly our residents that are the most disenfranchised, the least able to speak for themselves. We have to start paying a whole lot more attention to that. I believe it's about 35% of our population that is people of color. A good majority of them that live in or near poverty. They need our help. We need to give them a little bit of help.
Tom, go ahead. Okay. All right. Can we finally vote? Again, it's roll call vote, and because there's a budget amendment, it needs to be 2/3, which means 6 out of 8. Tracy, why don't you go ahead and do a roll call vote?
Alder Radafrada,
Yes.
Alder Clouder,
No.
Alder Gerhart,
Yes.
Alder Krause,
Yes.
Alder Maldonado,
Yes.
Alder Schroeder,
No.
Alder Strassman,
Yes.
Alder Udell,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right. Then we will go back to committee and commission reports. Plan Commission. Tom, do you want to do a motion on this ordinance here?
This was ordinance 2020-0-22, an ordinance amending chapter 23, the smart code, signage related to transit 5. The Plan Commission, I'll move, that we approved it.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, second. Do you want to speak to this, Tom?
Briefly, what it is a signage. There's 3 different signs that the Plan Commission looked at, the city's looking at, to help people with the directions around the 9 Springs area. And kind of in a nutshell, that's all it's about. It's signage so we can help people move in the right direction.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that it's a little bit hard to know which building is which, and so they're trying to, again, stay within kind of our overall guidelines, but provide a little more flexibility there. Dorothy.
I was just going to say, when people talk about 9 Springs, they're talking about Terra Vesa. I'm not certain that anyone who hasn't been around for a number of years has heard the term 9 Springs, but that's talking about that same development area.
Yeah, this is uptown as well as Terra Vesa, actually. All right. Seeing nothing else, all in favor, say aye.
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 And opposed,
Aye.
nay. All right, that passes. Anything else, Tom?
No, that was it.
All right, Public Works, Sarah.
Make a motion to approve resolution R-15420, engineering services for Sign Road reconstruction.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
All right, did Public Works approve?
Yes.
Did Finance approve?
No, we
No? Okay.
have
I'd like
to
to-
delay it.
All right, hold on. Pat, do you want to speak to this?
You want me to speak to it? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that'd be great.
Yeah, Public Works is requesting that it be tabled to a date certain or postponed to a date certain, which would be the next meeting, so they can provide additional information.
I'll move to.
Well, hold on,
delay
we
this-
already got a vote, we already got a motion, so we can't, there's already a motion on the table. So Sarah, if you can you can withdraw your motion, or you can amend your motion, maybe withdraw and then read your motion.
Yes, that sounds great. I'll withdraw and then, Pat, just so I'm clear, that occurred at the finance meeting, because at the Public Works meeting, that didn't occur.
Yes, Bill received some additional information and is requesting that it be postponed for 2 weeks.
Thank you. Okay, I'll make a motion to postpone resolution R-15420, engineering services for Sign Road construction until a date in the future.
So I think it's 2 weeks, I heard.
2 weeks, okay, sorry.
Great. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Julia. And I know Public Works approved, but Finance did postpone. So any questions or concerns on postponing? All right, all in favor of postponing, say aye.
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 And opposed, nay. All right, those are postponed. Sarah, next one.
Make a motion to approve resolution R-15620, authorizing the water utility to file a simplified rate increase application with the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin.
All right, did Public Works approve?
Yes.
Did Finance approve this one?
Yes.
Good. All right, what's this one, Sarah?
We're proposing increasing the water utility rates by 3% effective January 1st, 2021 to reduce the existing deficiencies in present water rates and avoid a future significant rate. This has been occurring for the past couple years of doing just smaller increments so that it's not such a shock to people's budget. It's estimated to be by quarter. The average home would see an increase of $1.22 per quarter, or $4.88 per year.
All right. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 And opposed, nay. All right, that one's approved. Next one, Sarah.
Make a motion to approve resolution R-15820, approving an affidavit of correction to the transportation project plan number 19-34884.08 to rename the portion of Pike Drive east of Fish Hatchery Road to a Cello Drive.
Did Public Works approve?
Yes.
And I know Planning Commission approved. Would you like to speak to this?
This was the request from Andy Bowman to rename Pike Drive, that segment east of Fish Hatchery Road, to pay tribute to a previous family that lived on Fish Hatchery Road. Both the families had worked on the Bowman Dairy, and just kind of a historical reference.
And I know that Pike Drive actually doesn't connect right now to the current Pike Drive, and I think there's only one person who has an address on there. It's Andy. And if it ever goes through, and right now it's not connecting to Pike Drive, I know that they said that could turn into essentially a roundabout. And so it's Pike, what would be Ocala if it ever goes through, and then I can't remember the third road, would all kind of come down into a Y, if you will, at a roundabout. So Pike Drive right now is new on that. It's right by UW Credit Union, and there's no businesses on there. And I think it's just something where Pike Drive does kind of bend where it would come through kind of where the church is, and kind of would make sense to have that be a different name. So, Gabrielle, question?
Yeah, is it possible for someone to show a map? Because when I was looking on Google Maps, I could not find the road, and I was because the only Pike Drive I could find was the one west of Fish Hatchery, and so I kind of know the area you're talking about. But is it just that this road is not on Google Maps currently?
It's brand new. We just put it in, actually.
Okay,
And
okay,
so
it's
that's
not on there.
why, yeah. Yep. And that's why, it's, even though it's called Pike Drive, it's not connecting to the current Pike Drive. And so, that's why Andy said, it might be a good opportunity to honor some of the history in that area. And it's a road that we don't know if it'll ever go through, actually. Hopefully it does, but we don't know if it will. Pat, I see. Oh, go ahead, Gabriella.
Well, I did just have two more questions. I guess the first one would be, how are we gonna pay for, what do you call it? Signs. I can't think of the word. Street signs. How do we pay for that? And then number two would be, is this like a precedent that we set where people can, do we have a criteria for when people can make this request? And like, would we consider any one of these, any request that comes forward like this, or is there some sort of criteria that has to be met for something to be considered?
There are criteria, and Pat can speak to that.
Yeah, I can answer that. Basically, it's normally done at time of platting. We wanted, it wasn't done at time of platting, given the road construction schedule, but what they wanted to do, the request came in after time of platting, and we wanted to get this request in front of you prior to the street signage going up, so there wouldn't be confusion in the future. So, yeah, this is a little out of the ordinary, but given the request of the property owner, we thought it was the appropriate time to bring it forward.
Great, thanks for that. Great answers.
All right. Anything else? Seeing nothing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
And opposed, nay. All right, then that is approved as well. Anything else yet, Sarah?
Nope, nothing else for plan or
All right.
work. Sorry.
All right, then we can go to Park Commission. Go ahead.
Park Commission, we did not meet. Our next meeting is Thursday, October 1st.
All right, and Library Board, Randy?
Library Board met last Wednesday and the 16th. We discussed the budget. The library budget is on target. And it was also announced that the library book drop is now open 24 hours a day, Monday through Saturday evening. And then Pat stole my thunder. The Halloween hunt is going to be canceled for the 2020 due to the COVID. And then the other portion of the meeting was to discuss the resolution that's listed here on our agenda.
All right, would you like to make a motion on that?
A motion to approve Resolution R-166-20.
And then you want to just read what it is, library tax exemption.
Okay, library tax exemption 2021.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, did Library Board approve?
The library board approved.
Did Finance approve?
Yes.
All right, and then you want to speak to this for what it is, Randy?
Yes, let me see if I can sum it up. I see Misty's gone, but she did a much better job, a much easier job of summing it up. But based on Wisconsin statutes, if you do not have a library that's supported by the municipality within the county, you must pay tax. And since Fitchburg does have a library and supported very well by the city, the municipality, we are tax exempt.
All right.
So, unless you have something further to add for your experience?
I don't think so. I think it saves us money, doesn't it?
It does. It does at that. Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Any questions? All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 And opposed, nay. All right, that is approved. And next, Commission on Aging, well, Dorothy.
Thank you. Basically, no report. We were not able to meet in September. The October meeting should be on the 8th. Cross fingers that that'll happen.
And I heard there's pie tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
All right, RCC.
We are meeting on this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. and we'd love for you to join us. We always have very rousing meetings. I'll be a little bit long because we're all very talkative.
All right, what about transportation and transit?
We believe we're planning a meeting in October.
All right, CETA.
We are meeting this coming Thursday at 7 o'clock in the morning, but I want to give you an update about the business loans. So we have received 8 applications since we started with the loan, and then we approved 3 of them, average $10,000, and some of the loans met the guidelines, but some of them not. So But we have until December 15 to continue with this application for the loan. So every 15 of each month is the deadline to submit applications. So we are still receiving applications. So far, 3 businesses in Fitchburg have received some loans. So this is good. Okay.
All right. Let's see. Agri-Neural Affairs.
We just met this afternoon at 3 o'clock, and the meeting ended just shortly before the Finance Committee at 5:30. A good portion or a large portion of that time was spent on discussion regarding assessment and how it impacts the rural areas of Fitchburg. Amy Mercer, our assessment director, was here to answer questions. There was a lot of frustration from the rural members of the committee, which is understandable. We had discussion with the public as well. Alder Clodder spoke, and he expressed his frustration as well. So did I. And we also discussed many ways of how this happened, and will it happen again in the future? We certainly hope not. And we were hoping to work on and find out ways of how we can possibly work through this. We're going to have another meeting, hopefully before the next meeting, which is October 14th or something like that. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. EMS, Shannon.
I missed the meeting, so I know we have another one on the 15th. So nothing to report.
All right, Bicycle Committee.
We haven't had a meeting. We're going to have one this month. And then just want to give a shout out to Mayor Richardson for showing up in the rain for the meet me at the border. We had, I think, probably about 20 or so people. I made it, I think, about 15 miles from the border, and then my neighbor and I headed back, I think for a grand total like 65 miles, but it's awesome to see folks that are committed to biking in Fitchburg no matter the weather. Administrator Mars also stole my thunder by mentioning the opening of the bike bridge. I'm really excited to cross it.
All right, and if they ever have that event when it's not raining and cold, I'll actually bike. I'm a fair weather biker. All right, Tree Advisory.
Oh, yeah, so we met on September 10th. It was a fantastic meeting. It was the first one we've had since the pandemic set in, so it's been a while. And we talked a little bit about the tree protection ordinance, which is one of the pieces of legislation that was one of the original reasons that the committee was put together. And so we had a really early conversation about that. We're putting together a subcommittee to really dig in and develop a policy, and we'll continue conversations with that going forward. Fortunately, we haven't had any meetings this year, so we're able to do a couple of extra meetings towards the end of the year to get some work done on that ordinance. And then a couple of interesting things. I think many people that property owners, that we're dealing with an ash borer beetle that is destroying ash trees. And so there are a lot of ash trees coming down around the city or on private properties. And the people are having to replace those trees. Many people are opting to. And a really important thing we need to start advertising to the community is that tree diversity is a really important thing to think about when you're choosing a tree. People tend to go with trees that they're familiar with. So maple has been a really popular choice. But Anna, our forestry expert, actually said that the next beetle that's likely to come to the United States will probably target maple trees. So we don't want to have just one type of tree all around the city, because you could create a bad situation. So we want to make sure that we're encouraging people to look at the different variety of trees and have a mix. And so we'll be doing some public outreach on that front, and I can send some more stuff around once we have it together to the committee, to the council. And then one also interesting point that Anna made, we have a bit of an interesting issue in the city where there's a missing chunk of trees. Like, we don't have trees in like the 40 to 80-year-old range. And that's a problem because the trees, the bigger trees that we have right now are older, and trees only last so long. They're going to die sooner or later, and they're going to come down. And those big old oak trees tend to be the ones that we save during developments, which is a little bit counterproductive because those trees typically only have a small few decades left, versus if you kept a smaller, tree that was in the 60-year-old range, maybe it would last another 100 years. So there is some communication to be done on that front, and make sure that potentially talking about how we can preserve the trees that exist when we're building new developments, so that we create a beautiful city, which I think was one of the things that makes people love Fitchburg. That's all for now. Thank you.
All right. Landmarks preservation, Shin.
Nothing new.
All right. Dorothy, what about census complete count?
Still plugging away. We're going to have a meeting on the 24th that's going to be near the end of their doors program. It will be sort of somewhat a wrap up of how things have gone and what we might expect for final results. We'll talk about how they work with landlords and property owners if for places where people have not responded, that we haven't been able to get people to respond, and how we're able to try and do a guesstimate count on places. Can't be as accurate as actually knowing, but it's better than not counting them and coming up short when it comes to government money that comes to us from based on our population and census numbers. That's a bigger issue than people think it is. So that's the 24th at 3 o'clock if people want to jump online or plan on watching it after the fact.
All right. What about housing advisory?
We met on the 14th, had some really robust discussions, had 4 members of WIDA there, for staff from WIDA, talking about some of the issues, particularly the new scoring criteria that they're using for the grant money that they make available. Just a whole lot of information. It'd be a good meeting for people to watch. Also talked about the affordable housing pilot program within the city, and that there's a lot going on with that as well. And then we finished off talking about the discussion that we had on council, talking about the accessory dwelling units and all that, and kind of our instruction to to staff to kind of follow up on some of those questions for us. So a whole lot of information exchanged, be valuable if people are interested in or concerned about housing issues in the city. It's a good show to go back and watch.
All right. What about healthy neighborhoods?
Other sheet. For that, right now, it's a no report.
All right. Then we can go to Finance Committee. Julia.
Yes, in the Finance Committee, we approved the detailed review of all check issued, check number 121169-121210, dated September 1st to September 15, totaling $279,330.26. And also we review all the P-card transactions for the cycle ending August 6, 2020, totaling $317,037.10. And also we discuss a couple of, of resolutions that are coming through the agenda.
All right. Personnel Committee, anything, Dorothy?
Oh, can I mention something in finance?
Sorry, one finance things first. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I want to, so something very important is that next week, the Finance Committee meeting is going to have 2 meetings, September 27th September 29 and 30 is going to be the budget presentation meetings with the head of the department, and we want to invite all the elders to come to this meeting or to watch the meeting. You already received an email today from Lisa with invite for those meetings. So especially if you are a new elder, I will recommend you to participate in this meeting, come, listen, and also reach out to Misty to have a one-to-one how to read the budget. But this is coming, and it's important that not only the Finance Committee people, elders show up, but also I would like to invite all of you, okay? So, thank you.
All right. Dorothy, personnel.
We should probably put Scott on notice to send meeting invites to all the alders for those 2 finance meetings. Personnel met on the 9th, talked about the police department policy manual update. I'd mentioned that in council before the fact. I had talked about some concerns that I have about kind of the cookie cutter policy manuals that this company is writing, and some concerns, and suggested that we put together a little bit of a citizen oversight committee to help watch that process. I think that would be a really, really good thing for us to do. And then we also talked employee handbook update. Little bit of information, not too big of a deal for us. And that's it for now.
All right. Anything in public safety, Sarah?
We did not meet tonight. It was canceled due to lack of agenda items, but we are scheduled to meet next on Tuesday, October 13th, pending agenda items.
All right. Mayor's report. The big thing is just kind of similar to Julia's comment. Yesterday afternoon, as you know, the operating budget was released, and so you can start reading through that. See what questions you have. Next week, the 2 meetings where the department heads present will be very informational. There's a lot of stuff on there that I would have liked to include, but I thought last year was hard. It was harder this year, and looking ahead, it's going to be even harder next year. We're in a tough spot, and one of those reasons is because of our debt service and the amount of money that we're paying on debt, taking up a lot of our increase in capacity. But as you're looking in there and you're looking for things that you might want to add, you're going to have to find something. If it adds to the general tax dollars, if that's how you're funding it, you're going to have to find the equal amount to remove. We don't have any capacity beyond what's in there already. So if something gets added, something else has to come out. And there's no guarantee those are separate amendments either. I've seen that too before, where someone said, "Oh, I'll take this out to put my project in," and the project got removed, but their project didn't get put back in. So, that can happen, but you do need to find that money somewhere, because we can't just spend whatever we want. We're limited by state statutes on what we can and can't do. All right, so district reports. Let's start with District 3 for once. How about Sarah? You want to go first?
Sure. So just a couple things. Just to call out that the farmers market is still going on. It's Thursdays 3 to 6 at the Agora Pavilion. It goes through October, but we've had some beautiful fall days. They have walk-up available with mask, and they also have pickups available. So just a shout out for that. I know it's always fun to go there. And a couple other things. A reminder, today is National Voter Registration Day. The myvote.wi.gov. Please, everybody go out there if you're not registered. The website also has just a ton of information that's really valuable regarding the upcoming election. I was one of the alders that toured the Forest View Elementary School, and will say that without a doubt it was a fantastic visit. Just a really impressive building with a lot of green elements with solar and battery and geothermal. So that was a really nice tour. Would without a doubt recommend it for everyone. The school was beautiful. And then the last thing I had as a call out is just and Lacey, that Terravesa intersection. We talked in Public Works on Monday that they plan to have it flashing today and tomorrow, and that it would become functional this Thursday. So that will definitely be a change. I know people can kind of get going quickly down that hill. So the 2 days of flashing to warn people, but then on Thursday, it's set up to be working. So it will definitely be a change in the neighborhood. That's all I got.
All right, Shannon.
I got nothing.
All right, Tom, what District 4?
I actually, Sarah talked about traffic there on on Lacey Road. I was going to talk about, so we took care of that. The other thing is the new school and the new bar on Seminole Highway. They're both in District 4.
All right, Randy.
Nothing to report.
All right, we'll jump to 1. Dorothy.
Well, I just want to say thank you from District 1 for everything we've gone through to try and help people to vote. And I wanted to say, this is going to be the last year for massive road construction that began in 2012 for our district. We have been living under massive road construction since 2012. There will be a little bit of cleanup to do early next year with some landscaping work and things, but I am so looking forward to not having major road construction. And then again, looking forward also part of that to getting that bike bridge open. There's a lot of people that are excited about that.
All right, Joe.
Yep. So 2 events I wanted to highlight, slightly outside of the district, but still there. There was COVID testing, public health led it, and it was by Reach Dane. So it sort of straddles the border with Madison. 30 people got tested. So again, this neighborhood is one of the highest hotspots for COVID-19 because there's a lot of essential workers. So it's always good to be able to have ample testing. There was a voter registration / information event last Friday. It was very successful. We had, I think, 10 volunteers. We covered Belmar, Renaissance on the Park, and some of the Chalet Gardens apartments, and just reached a lot of folks. Thanks to Voces de la Frontera, League of Women Voters, Dane County, and Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated for bringing out volunteers. Probably going to be doing another event somewhere in the King James neighborhood. Haven't set a date, but I'll make sure to let folks know about that. The city of Madison is doing voting in the park at Allied Park. It'll be mainly focused on Madison residents, but if there are any alders or folks in the public that want to volunteer for that, please let me know. It's going to be the 26th, I believe, and I can send more details for folks that are interested. Feel free to email me. Finally, there is a, and thanks to the clerk's office as well as volunteers for setting this up. Tracy, correct me if I'm wrong on any of these, but I believe October 17th and 24th, 10 to 1 at McKee Farms Park and at Jamestown Heagle Park. And there will be ballot boxes available during that time for folks to drop off their ballots. Am I inaccurate in anything I said there?
Oh, that's correct.
Okay.
All right, well, District 2, Gabriella.
Thank you. A few things today. So you may have heard that the statewide mask mandate has been extended, so please continue to wear your masks. And just like we all know at this point that the masks are really about protecting others and not ourselves. And I would like to say that flu shots are a very similar thing. You get a flu shot to protect the community around you, and flu shots are all over the place now. So I highly recommend that you seek it out earlier rather than later. I just got mine at the Fish Hatchery Walgreens yesterday. It took about 8 minutes. I was in and out, and then I was really pleased. As Pat mentioned in his administrator's report, there's going to be a drive-through flu shot in Fitchburg Senior Center on Wednesday, October 21st, from 9 to 11 a.m. So that's another opportunity. And then I know a lot of doctors' offices also do them. And most insurances, you don't have a copay. So I do encourage you to get your flu shot. And then voting, very important. Kudos to Tracy and her team for getting out a ridiculous number of absentee ballots. It's absolutely extraordinary. I got mine in the mail on Saturday. And again, I'm going to reiterate what Joe said because I don't think you can say it enough times. So there are going to be 2 ballot drop-off opportunities. One is Saturday, October 24th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the McKee Farms Park Shelter. Again, that's Saturday, October 24th. The second one is Saturday, October 17th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Hugo Jamestown Shelter. And again, that's October 17th. You can also always drop your ballot off at City Hall. There is a drop box in the lobby and it's open 24 hours a day. Very easy to find. So go ahead and drop it off there as well. And as Tracy shared before, there is a voter hotline if you need help with anything related to ballots. And I believe that also includes absentee ballot help. And that number is 608-285-2141. Again, that's the Dane County voter hotline. It's 608-285-2141. And then I guess the last thing I'll say is, so the census, you can still fill out your census. And if you haven't yet, please do so because it helps the city of Fitchburg. It helps you get that done. I believe there's a deadline. And did we talk about that already? What's the deadline, Dorothy? Is it the end of the month?
Yes.
Certainly the end of the month. I think it might be a little bit before the end of the month.
Okay, so it is very quick. So just search Census, you'll find it and get it done. It's very important. And I guess the last thing I'll say, as I mentioned before, but I do send out a regular e-newsletter. If anyone wants to sign up, you can find it on my website, GabrielaGerhardt.com. Thank you so much.
All right, Julia.
Yes, so I want to mention that we met, Gabriela and I, Bill Bolke, we met with a neighbor for Seminole Village to discuss the issue with the big retention pond and how what is the next step, where replacement of tree and some prairie grass. So we are working on that. It was a very fun meeting. And then on September 28th, we are having another meeting with the neighbor of the South McKee Park, the house, those kind of Tower Hill, Sherwood Drive, because they're having some issue with the stormwater and flooding. So we are having a virtual meeting. Bill is gonna be there. So if people are watching from that area, send me an email so I can send you the Zoom link to participate. But we have been very busy with neighbors meetings regarding some different topics. So, well, we are listening. We're trying to fix some of the issues. So that's it.
All right, there's no unfinished business. Tracy, what's the latest on the elections? I saw that there was something in the past week here about absentee ballots and how long they can be counted, at least for now. We'll see if that changes.
Yeah, so that's still in the courts right now, so we're waiting to hear if that comes to fruition, where your absentee ballot would still be counted if we received it 6 days after November 3rd, as long as it was postmarked by November 3rd. So we're still waiting to hear about that. And Gabriela and Joel, thank you for giving out the information for the Dane County Voter Coalition Hotline and the dates on the absentee ballot drop boxes at our city parks. Just to reiterate, we do have a drop box at City Hall. It's accessible 24/7. Staff checks it every hour during office hours, and then on the weekends, I personally check it in the morning and I'll check it in the evening. just to make sure that it's being emptied properly and nothing is getting hung up in there. Again, it is under 24-hour surveillance for security purposes, and it is a lock-covered door. I have some numbers for you. I emailed them to you earlier, but if Kimberly's sitting in the audience, she may be interested in some of these numbers too. As of September 20th, we have 17,640 registered voters. Those numbers obviously went up today with the National Registration Day. 8,448 absentee ballots were mailed out. 48% of voters have already requested their absentee ballots by mail. So by district, if I break it down by district, District 1 has 1,224 of their 2,963 registered voters. So you're already at 41% turnout for absentee request. District 2 has 2,663 absentee ballots of the 4,949 registered voters. You're already at a 54%. District 3 has 1,985 absentee ballots of the 4,515 registered voters. You're at 44% turnout. District 4 has 2,576 absentee ballots of the 5,215 registered voters, and you're at about a 49% turnout. As of Sunday, that would leave 9,192 voters that have not yet requested their absentee ballot. If we keep on the current anticipated path of 17 absentee ballot requests for the next 39 days, which obviously we're averaging a little bit more than that, that would be an additional 2,925 voters requesting absentee ballots, plus the 10 days of in-person absentee voting with about an average of 200 per day. That's kind of low in the past. We've averaged about 500 a day in previous in-person absentee voting. But if we did the 2,000 per day, that would be an additional 2,000, or 200 per day, that would be an additional 2,000. That would bring our total of 13,461 absentee ballot requests, which would be 76% turnout of the registered voters. Again, and kind of going by what Julia said earlier, that would leave 24% to come to the polls and or account for a margin of error due to registered voters just not registering to vote in another municipality or another state. So just to remind everybody that make sure you sign and date your absentee ballot envelope. Make sure you have your witness sign and your witness write their complete address before returning your ballot. Your signature does not need to conform to your name on your driver's license. We've had a lot of questions about that. If your driver's license says Steven and you sign as Steve, that's perfectly acceptable. So just make sure that those fields that are highlighted are being filled out prior to you returning your absentee ballot.
Any questions, Dorothy? Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to note, in talking about court saying we may have another 6 days to get absentee ballots. Don't wait for that. Please, please, please don't wait for that. Among other things, well, I sat there the entire day after the April election when they were going through all the absentee ballots. A lot of ballots ended up not being able to be counted. The post office doesn't normally postmark ballot envelopes. So how can you gauge by a postmark that doesn't exist when that ballot got put in the mail? If this stays in the courts are going to have to tell the post office that they must postmark ballot envelopes. I'm not going to guarantee that that's going to happen. So please don't wait. Just order your absentee ballot, fill it out, get it back in the mail, or drop it off. That was the other half of my question. Mary Beth, the clerk in Madison, is just absolutely astounding to work with. One of the things that she said, and her staff showed me, they're going to be buying 14 Mondo drop boxes, like ultra secure. And they have said that they have a cooperative agreement among municipalities that any Fitchburg ballots that get dropped in any of the Madison boxes, they will send back to Fitchburg in a timely fashion. I presume that that would be the case for us as well. If we get Madison ballots, we would get them back to them. So feel free to also make use of the opportunities in the Madison area to drop ballots off.
Yeah, we do sometimes get ballots from other municipalities, not just Madison, and we do send those along. I mean, if you can drop it off in your municipality, it's better, but we do pass those along if we get them. Gabriella, did I see you have a question?
Yeah, two quick things. Tracy, does your staff actually hand highlight all of those fields on the absentee ballots? Or is that something you do? Or does that as the print on the printer?
We had gotten a lot of absentee ballot envelopes from the county. They had ordered quite a few for April, just in anticipating COVID. So they donated those to us. I think I mentioned that in one of our other meetings, that they had given us some of those. And those envelopes were just plain. They weren't municipality specific, where it didn't have our return address already printed on there. It didn't have any highlighting on there. So between staff and other departments stepping forward and helping out, and the chiefs coming in, those all got highlighted and put with and stamped with our return address and our address going out. So yeah,
that's extraordinary. Congrats to everyone. That's really amazing, and it's a great way to make sure that people fill it out properly. Like, that's huge.
And I did forget to mention that as of 4 o'clock today, 1,339 of those absentee ballots have been returned. So my staff of 4 has to record every single ballot that comes back into WisVote as being returned. So they've been working their tails off since Friday, when that drop box was first being utilized, to get those votes counted, or those absentee ballots recorded in WisVote as returned.
And then I had one question from a constituent. They asked about the community, the 2 park community drop-offs, that if they wanted to grab their neighbor's ballot and bring it by, there's nothing wrong with that. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, yep, that's just fine. Yep.
Great.
Presuming it's appropriately filled out.
Right.
They
if someone
will not be able to help make corrections on someone else's ballot.
All right. Seeing nothing else, we can go to Resolution R17020. Joe, I think you have 2 options. You can either table indefinitely, or you can move to deny, since we have the second one already done. This one isn't necessary.
I'll gracefully move to deny.
All right, is there a second?
I can second.
Second by Dorothy. All right. All in favor of denying I'm sorry, is there any discussion? I don't think there is, but all right.
No.
All right. Seeing none, all in favor of denying R17020, say aye.
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 And opposed, nay. All right, that is denied. Committee of the Whole is tomorrow night. I know that we're hearing an update on Lake Barney, and also an update on different road projects and construction projects around the city as well. So, excellent. And then October 13th is the next council meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All right, all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. All right, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.